Hi ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host Benjamin Temple, and I'm doing a video on the Union Pacific Excursion Train. No, this is not the UP Big Boy or the FEF with the UP Big Boy. This is the FEF-3 class, road number 844, or also known as the Living Legend. I've got, it's not all the UP excursion cars that went with that train, it's just some of them. So it's not a prototype car, because I know some of you see in Facebook, if you don't complain. But hey, I'm here at the River City Mile Railroad Club, so this is not a specific prototype layout for the UP Northern FEF-3 class locomotive. And so I'm running what I want to run. If you like it, great. If you don't, move along, I guess, if you're going to make that kind of comment or complaints. But I hope all my viewers enjoy my videos, and if you don't, you can make some comments that will help me improve. Fine, I'm open to that. No, I do not have a mic. I said I was going to get one, but I haven't done it yet. On this, we have the power car. So this video is kind of, just to show you what I have, but also kind of a review, product demonstration, and for me to test run on the club. So we have the Broadway Limit Power Car, the 2066, and the business Lone Star car, business tail end car, 101, well, Lone Star 101. I also have, I went to the Springfield train show about 2 weeks ago, and I got some of the some cars there, 60-foot material handling cars that Walters made, which is the well, they're in the Amtrak paint scheme with the U.S. postal symbol, the eagle. I thought they're really neat. I've always been a fan of mail being on the train. So here we are, bear with me. So I also wanted to state, some people say that, but no offense, I'm the engineer, the conductor, and the video man that's running the train. So I'm the man doing 3 jobs, and forgive me, I'm trying to update myself on some knowledge here. My viewers out there, it's not that I don't know, it's not that I can't look it up, but I admit I didn't do a lookup. So forgive me if I botch this up. If you feel like correcting me, I won't be mad if you put the correct. I may put it later. But this is the FEF-3 class with the Mars light on it, run I think from 1989 or something like that to 2013. And Ed Dickinson, I've met you, you know that, and maybe the viewers don't know that. But Ed, I'm not saying this, I'm not your boss obviously, but I have asked before when you came to St. Louis if you put that back on. You said you would, you didn't, and I don't know the reasoning behind that, but I'm asking that you would put that back on there. Very politely and kindly, I'd ask that you put that Mars light. I really love that, and I think it's a great safety feature on the engine, especially dark. That red light kind of appears through. Now, obviously you're the boss man, you're going to do what you want. But so this engine's made by Broadway Limit. I know they're coming out with some new ones. I don't know if they're making any improvements. This is the Paragon 4. Now on this is the auxiliary water tenders. Those are by Scale Train. Then is the 85-foot baggage car. Art Lockman sometimes uses a tool car. I think that's what it kind of serves. And then, as I stated, I got these at the Springfield train show, and I've just always been a fan of mail being upon, whether it be freight train, passenger trains. I just think that's a great idea. Preferably passenger trains, being they tend to run faster and move upon destinations, although doesn't seem that way sometimes, and today they're not considered priority trains sometimes. But always thought that was a great idea. Then of course, I already said, I was a man that loved mail train. So you're always going to see, if I have a chance, and forgive me, my screen seems to be smeared here, so I'm trying to get rid of that so it's a little clearer focus. But this is the 85-foot Pullman standard RPO slash baggage car, I think is the way. It's a Walters car. And then the next is the, it's an Athearn ready to run. So it's got the Economy 2 sound, I think is what's on that as far as the DCC with sound. This is a new engine to me that just came out. That's why I'm doing the video, because I'm kind of test running this engine and seeing how it works. As you see, it's got the strobe light. Yes, I know it's not the proto. It's a fill-in diesel, you know, and that's the way I want to run this train today, because I can, you know, get in the test run. And of course, this is a Broadway Limit power car, as I said, UP2066, as they got it numbered. Now I know I don't think it's always been that way. It's a 2066. But that car, you know, some people have asked some questions. I've even seen, I think some guy on Facebook asked me, so this power car up in the front is your generator, your electric generator, well, diesel electric, right? Fired up by diesel, turns the generator. That generator supplies power to all these passenger cars. Usually on the excursion train is a whole lot more than my set here. Yes, I have far more than this, but I'm just testing this train, so I just wanted to throw something together. But it's power to run the lights, the air conditioner, or in the wintertime the heat, also your Wi-Fi system. I think that pretty much covers it. Might be some other stuff. You know, if you know more about that, hey, post a comment, leave it. I'm fine with that. Then is the George Bush funeral car. I think that's what, but anyhow, you know, it's got the American flag. I just run it because I like the car. It's pretty neat. And then here's the 10.6 Willie James sleeper car. And then, of course, the, I think 64 seated, but maybe I've got that wrong. Maybe that's 48 seated diner car, but anyhow, it's a diner car. And then there's a 44 seated, because I got thinking about it. This is 44, so how can that be 64? But probably 48 seated diner car, and then 44 seated coach Katy Flyer. Then of course it's a dome car, dome coach lounge, I think is the way they refer to that, because see at the top it's got chairs. And then of course here's, as I told you, this is the, so all those from that power car, excluding the power car, are all Walters Proto. And then of course this last car is a Broadway Limit, the new car, as I kind of stated already. So the green comes on, then the red comes on, and then you're gonna watch, oops, see there, those come on, the ditch lights, or whatever you want to call it, inspection lights. You can see the green go on and off. Whoops, I just caused that to go off. And you can see the red come on and go off. So yeah, it does work. I can make the interior lights go out too. But you know, so as I stated before, I'm the man running the throttle here. So in a sense of the railroad terms, I'm the conductor, engineer, brakeman, switchman, and the cameraman. So, you know, for those that complain, hey, I'm running it all. Yes, I know some other people do a great job. You know, but my hat's off that they can do that. I don't have a stand. I don't have a roller set up. I'm at the River City Model Railroad Club, and I'm one man here running this whole show. So, you know, forgive me if my videos ain't perfect, but I'm doing the best I know how to do. So, you know, I hope that you enjoy. I hope they educate you on, you know, what's there and what's not there. They're informative, and you know, if you like my videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate that. Because you know, the more popular, the more things will do. If you have suggestions of things that you want to see, you know, don't feel afraid to voice whatever you want, and I'll try to make that happen. But as some other people have, you know, stated or say, I can't do some things. I'm at a club. It doesn't have the ability to do all the things, so I have to do what it is I can do. For some reason my button's stuck. So I tried doing this earlier. Unfortunately, the train did have a derailment. You know, this is quite a tough challenge actually, because you get a steam engine here on the front, and you know, a quarter ways down is the diesel running, shoving, and you know, if you ain't got them speed match, and you say, well, how do you do that? Well, I try to run the diesel a little slower, but that can cause a problem because then it's pulling on the steam locomotive, so that's not necessarily the best setup. It's better to try to run them about the same speed, but that's a little bit challenging considering, you know, you think about this, you got on that diesel, or I mean on the steam, you've got 85 or 80 inch drivers on that. Forgive me, I haven't checked my facts. And then on the diesel, you got 40 inch diameter wheels. Of course, it's all about the gearing with a diesel, because it's you know, set up different than the steam, so that can be quite the challenge to try to get them all to run together like this. Now, if anybody else has got any suggestions on how to do that better, I'm all ears. But this so far is doing better than last time. Let's see if that continues. As you can see, so what I do is I put them on this controller, and I have them, you know, one on the left, which is the steam, and one on the right is the diesel. That's the way I operate them. Maybe that's cheating. Yes, I don't have them in a consist. Reasoning for that is I feel like if I put them in a consist, then I'm really going to have trouble, because then I can't just directly access the steam engine, well, the diesel, I mean, this should say, because it'd be sucking on the throttle. But this way I can access my diesel directly and not have to try to, so it makes it a little easier, I feel like, but maybe that's, you know, incorrect. Well, that's kind of why I'm reaching out to you guys to see if you have any suggestions on how to operate this a little more efficient and better. But that's the way I'm doing it. And I have done this before with the big boy and the Centennial, and the big boy and I think it was my -9 units that I've done that with, but you can look back in my videos and see. But usually I run that engine, you know, directly behind the steam engine, so that's the other reasoning that we don't have the problems that we're currently having. But I think the main reason is the passenger cars here. You know, going through these are kind of snap switches, I feel like, and that tends to cause the derailments. So least I feel like. That may not be entirely true, but I guess if I had to do this unassisted, hands-free, I'd be in trouble. Because in the miniature world, as some of the club members like to say, the hand of God has to come down and help the train, to make it all work. Yep, I totally agree with that statement that sometimes it's the hand of God that is certainly lifting the train and getting it moving or putting things into place. I'm not sure what causes that train to cut out like that, other than just maybe some bad sections. But there might be a derailed car that I'm not aware of either. Well, we certainly had a car jump the track. It looks like everything is fine. So let's hope this goes around the curve as good as can be expected. The way I set that up is usually I run the steam 1% faster than the diesel. Is that the way it should be? Well, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine on that. That's the way I run it with the big boy and the Centennial and some other engines. I don't really know. We're hoping this goes off without a hitch, but we'll just have to see. So far, so good. Last time we run this through, I started a video. Actually, I've done this twice now, and deleted the first video. Didn't even go that far. I went around the curve, I think, and then deleted. So I made it a little further. Maybe I made it through these crossover switches here when I had the derailment. I had a lot of trouble. So I don't know if it's track operator, things wasn't lubed up on the engine or all well, but yeah, I've started this video a couple times now. But hopefully all works out well this time. I had it smoking really great, fired up, heat, but every time it comes off track or loses power, it deadens that engine, so then kills the smoke generator, and when that happens, that's pretty much it. Then you have to restart it, so don't know what you can do about that other than, I guess, go with the flow, as they say. So, but that's why I'm running it slow here. Of course, this might be more prototypical than running it fast, but hopefully give me a chance to, catch it before something major happens. But that isn't just the only reason. It's to hopefully keep things from derailing, give the train, the cars a chance to maneuver with the curves and keep it from derailing that way. But like anything else, no guarantees. I can only do what I know how to do, and that's it. I'm hoping that I can run this train. So maybe this is not the best way to do this, but I applied with the Norfolk and Southern conductor position three times. They did a virtual interview and then turned me down. Of course, I took like a week with the job and the hours and things. I didn't have time to do that interview. Then the fourth time I got it in under a week, so they offered me a second interview, which I went down to Decatur. The guy told me I was overqualified. He wanted to know why, with a bachelor and a master's, why I would want to come and do that job. I said, well, I always wanted to work for the railroad. I mean, it's always been a dream to do that job. And what's crazy to me is, he said, well, there's a test, and I'm not trying to be mean here, but I have a bachelor and a master's. I've taken plenty of tests. I mean, 5 weeks in the classroom is nothing to what I've done as far as my schooling. And then, 6 weeks, he claims of, in field training to learn how to hang off rail cars and do the switching and all that sort of thing. No offense, but big deal. I as this trucking company I work for, Central Transport, I climb in and out of the truck. Of course, it's true, I don't hold on by one hand. Yes, that's very true. But I do, however, climb in and out of the docks. Now that I do use one hand, or have, because my feet slip. So that put me in a position where I had to hold on by one hand. I didn't really know that I'd had that kind of strength, but I guess due to doing that, I'm getting stronger than I had been in the past. So that's really kind of pretty cool. But that's why I say, he wants to do that physical test. I can do that all day, day in, day out. There's no worries on my part, because I'm already physical at doing that. And I just think it's crazy that somebody would but then he's like, well, a lot of guys feed me just what I want to hear and then quit or whatever. But with Central Transport, I did this. When I came to this job, they told me there's forklifting that I had to do, and I told them fine, that I was an over-road truck driver, but I was willing to put in the effort and the time. So what happened here, to jump to one subject, I got caught on the cardboard there, one of the cars, the door there, that little indentation of the door got caught and made, put tension on the train, and the engine couldn't pull it, and that's what caused it to nearly derail. But I got that car to slide by, obviously, and so all is well, or at least that I see at the moment. Of course, my Mars light keeps going out every time the power, and then of course my smoke keeps going too, so you're not going to get the smoke action that probably should be getting, but because it takes time for that generator or smoke unit to heat up. But maybe you can't see it, maybe you can, but it's smoking pretty good as it is, so guess you should be happy with that outcome. And talk about a dream. This is a dream, but the reason I'm telling you that is because, so I don't remember what his name is. Guess it doesn't really matter. But, you know, he's like, check your email a week from now. You'll hear something back, at least on whether or not I get the job. And, you know, he's kind of more or less indicated that I would get the job. And then 25 hours later after the interview, so the next day at 12:50 something p.m., I get an email that says, you know, due to overwhelming candidates, after careful consideration, we have found people with better qualifications and decided to move on. It's like, what? I feel like, why didn't you be honest with me instead of pulling that little stunt? But, you know, I guess it is what it is. But I thought, you know, I'm not trying to sit here and run him down, but thoughts is, any thoughts, you know, from my viewers? Do you have any thoughts on wisdom of how to do an interview and what could be done better, I guess, is kind of my question here. You know, because when it comes to running a train, I believe that, you know, with my schooling and knowledge and experience, I could certainly, 25 years in transportation, be an asset to any railroad for that matter. You know, very knowledgeable about trains and locomotives. But I'm still learning. Not to say I know everything there is to know. Obviously, I don't. If I did, I wouldn't be here. But you can see how this train runs. I guess I got lucky in this running so far. It's been pretty good. Don't know why it cut out though. Didn't have a car that derailed. Huh. Must be a power issue here. But yeah, everything. You know, I just wanted to see if my viewers, anybody that actually works for the real railroad, that can help me with some input on how to get. Now, I had interviewed for the Union Pacific, same thing, 3 times, well, 2 times, and the 3rd time they made a job offer. You'd say, well, then why aren't you working for them? Well, at the time I met, I turned it down for this reasoning. I was making more, and I was under very much a whole lot of debt. I was like $240-some thousand in debt. So, you know, I needed money to pay those student loans. So I couldn't afford to quit the job I was making. And I tried to get the UP to offer me more money, which $65,000 was a base pay as a train crew conductor position at that time, or at least what I was understanding in the email. So I turned it down. Was it the right thing to do? Well, I don't know. You know, if I could have done it over, I think I would have just chanced it and prayed for the best. But I needed a sure thing, and I walked away from it, you know. And yes, you know, it's the past of the past. It's always been my favorite railroad. Yeah, the Norfolk and Southern is not, but hey, a railroad's a railroad, at least the way I look at it. I don't really care what it says on the side of the door, because Norfolk and Southern is going to be part of the UP system anyhow. It sounds like, if all works out. So, you know. Well, that didn't work out so good. This is proven to be disastrous. It just seems like that that might explain why it's not coming back on, because it's wrong locomotive. I was turning on function 24 for the diesel, but that's not the Mars light for the steam engine. Obviously, like I said, it's kind of tough here to try to, you know, operate a steam and a diesel all at the same time. Of course, I'm not sure that if I was operating a two steam engines, that would be much better, although you've seen from my videos I have accomplished that. But yeah, we're going to set you down for the minute. So there's a tender come apart from the steam engine, so obviously that's not a good deal, and we're going to try to reconnect them. So bear with me, technical difficulties at the moment. I'm not sure if that was a switch that caused it, but if the rest of the train managed to run and not derail, then maybe a locomotive problem. I don't know. Still problematic. Guess it didn't get that tender on real good. Ooh, sorry. Didn't realize I had that up in the air. Like I say, I'm the cameraman, the engineer, the conductor, the switchman, and also the maintenance crew, all kind of at the same time here. You know, so I got to try to be ahead of this train and get on top of all this at once, which is quite a job. Now I managed to catch that switch as it was set to cross over, which might not have been any headaches. It could have probably just crossed over and then crossed it back over. But with these, part of the problem is, you know, you have some 3-axle passenger cars, especially those baggage cars. The power car here is a 3-axle. Those are problematic. And then, of course, the tail end business car, which for some reason I appear to lost my train somewhere. Huh. Well, ain't that something? Yeah, just the one car, huh? Already. Well, so that might explain why we was having trouble earlier. You know, the power deal. But you know, these 3-axle cars, especially on smaller layouts with these switches. Of course, you can see part of the problem here is, well, the grade should be a little smoother. It's not to say that you can't have grades with trains, but they should be, you know, not that up and down quite so fast. It should be more, you know, gradual. I mean, I'm not saying you can't have the percentage of grade, but you need things that certainly allow for a grade. Well, for some reason, hope it didn't blow something. Anyhow, alright, well, I think you've seen enough, and this train certainly runs pretty good other than the problem, but I think it's a club layout that needs some improvements. So I hope you've enjoyed my video. I hope you've learned something, and you know, if you didn't, leave me some comments on what you'd like to see improved, You know, if you know more than I do, please leave me a comment that help educate me. I mean, forgive me if I got some details wrong. It's not that I don't know. I just admit I didn't, you know, go in advance and look up on some of the stuff, but it doesn't take but a few minutes after, and I can post some comments that update the you know, correct drive wheel diameters and things of that not knowledge or specs. But my review on the Broadway power car, you can hear that running right there now. That's what you're hearing. Of course, you're hearing the diesel. The lights all work. You know, I didn't go and check the specification on dimensions, so I couldn't tell you, but I've seen the real thing. Let's see. Well, I was out there to Ogden, Utah. I was also seen it in St. Louis, not once but twice. I've seen the FEF unit come there, the big boy come there. So I've seen it twice. Well, I was there 2012 or 2010 when the Challenger came to St. Louis. Then 2016 when the FEF-3 class came by itself. Then when the big boy came there in 2020, well, maybe no, it's 2021 that it came. I saw it then, and then 2019, the 150th anniversary for the UP, I came and saw that. So, and then of course when it came here to Illinois recently last year, I seen it. You know, from what I can see of details, things, it looks eye to eye without getting a tape measure out and, you know, checking. Of course, I didn't check the real thing, but you can go online and look it up and find the car. But looks to me like everything is okay. So I didn't realize I had the throttle on that on, but I was noticing it was jumping up and down, at least on that axle. But that was another thing I was wondering earlier. So I have some Illinois Central SD40-2 engines. Those seem to be heavier, and maybe it's due to my comment that I made that the Illinois Central has more powerful engines than any other, but that only stands true to the 210-2 steam locomotive. That research as far as the tractive effort, that is stronger than any other 210-2 that I'm aware of. When you review the facts from books to books and online information, I don't know, you know, from one SD40-2 to another who's got the more powerful engine as far as horsepower and tractive effort. Maybe that's the Union Pacific, but this engine seems to be a little light. Now, maybe it's just me, but I guess I need to take that home and you know, do some comparison in the weight to my IC locomotives to the UP here. I don't know, but I can tell you that I did do a comparison between the Broadway Limit version of the IC and the Athearn Ready to Run version, and I can tell you the Broadway Limit is heavier, and I can tell you on the track, you know, here at the club, it was out pulling the Athearn version. So you know, it's just my personal opinion. Well, I have some of these in scale trains. I haven't checked, but I've heard the scale trains builds better engines as far as, you know, tractive effort and pulling power. I would definitely buy scale trains over Athearn Ready to Run models if they would do them again. But I only got 2 of those, and that was it. So you have to take sometimes what you can get. But I guess I'm getting off subject. You know, none of that really relates to this excursion passenger train. Again, I hope you've enjoyed my video, and you know, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel, And thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.